refresh this, and we're going to add a hunk. So you get really fast at doing this. Add a hunk serial, and then outputs to inputs, outputs to inputs. Refresh the squid, refresh the view, make that a little bit bigger, add a hunk, blink, add a hunk, A, and this is still on, it is connected to A, so we are good there. Output comes around to input, output comes around to input, press the squid. Get that, we'll make that bigger again, and now when we refresh this, it should, so now it's pulling everything in from the motor. So now what we want to do, this motor has a stepper driver that's already instantiated, and we basically just want to send increments to the stepper driver, and that'll directly drive the motor. So to do that, the first thing we do is we go back to the router, and we add a hunk. This is where like the magic really happens. And the hunks we're going to add is an MD to D message, which basically takes a motion segment, which is like XYZ to XYZ, and it divides it into X, Y, and Z. So it takes in one thing and it outputs three things. And this is like what makes this so powerful, is that you can then drag this motion segment, going from here into the motor, you drag it to the actual input. You let it go, it routes it through the nodes where it needs to route. So that's super cool. We haven't enabled the stepper driver yet. We'll do that after we've wired everything up. But there is an enable thing right here that we have to remember to do. So now we need to generate these motion segments. So to do that, we're going to add another hunk in the browser. We're going to add Saturn. And Saturn is what you guys will be interfacing with. Yep. And so the output of Saturn, we're going to drag, or the MD message output, we're going to drag to this input. It'll route it through the browser. And then just for testing, we're going to, this takes a POSN array, a POSN array, which is a thing that you guys will know about.
Like non-negative integers?
That sounds correct. So we're going to just take this array interface, which allows us to manually type in numbers, and we're going to drag that right over to here. And then, importantly, we're going to turn on incremental mode for testing, just for what we're doing right now. And now we're going to turn our 20-volt power supply on. So just it's 24 volts. It's not pulling any current right now because the stepper motor drivers aren't on. But if we go in here and enable the stepper motor drivers, you can see that clicked a little bit, and now the axis is frozen. So I'm actually going to disable it. I'm going to manually move this to the middle so I don't crash it again. Yeah, so now that's enabled, and now we can put things in here, and we hit chip now.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's absolute. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm actually going to turn this off and go like this, and then turn it back on again. And now, when you do that, it's automatically disabled the stepper motor driver, so we'll toggle that, turn it back on.
Oh, it does click.
Yeah, it does make like a little clicking noise when the Mac, because now this is locked, so it's breaking, which is why it's pulling current. Yeah, now we can send it all the way down. Yeah.
So about 450 abstract.
Yeah, and there's a scaling factor in the stepper driver that we can adjust, which is steps per unit. And then Jake's also broken out a couple other things. Yeah, so that's about as far as we've gotten. But there's yeah. So now I go to save this system.
Steps per unit.
Zach demo. And if I go into Cuttlefish and save systems, Zach demo is this, which is basically just a file that is like represents the graph, yeah. And then all the geometry is just like when you load it, the geometry engine like just like that. Yeah, exactly. So if I were to refresh this, and do that, and probably refresh it again for good measure, I will restore a system, Zach demo, and there is one this one bug that we found that we believe is Ubuntu related, which is that the links in the browser
Maybe Sunday.
default is active as false, so you have to switch that to true. And now it now it called in the router and it called in the stepper, and now the step driver is enabled.
This is loading something you had already done, or what you just did?
It was loaded what I'd already done. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
So now we should be able to do that again. And there we go.
Nice.
It's wonderful.